All right, so I think I got to pull these back. So we've had this ongoing sort of process where you're taking the original strips, right, which yielded that form right there, and you're trying to transform that form into a more dynamic element by elongating these pieces and including a tapering form and including these sort of acute and obtuse angles. So it sees this clearly, right?
Oh yeah, just bring it up to it, I guess.
Right, closer? Okay. So the next step in that, so you guys are going to, essentially you're going to do all 6 of these. You're going to create new versions of it that have that dynamic jet airplane wing sort of character, right? So the next iteration in that is to create one where we start with a wider form and we literally sculpt away from it in order to create what we're doing. So this one, right, this right here, folded up, is essentially a widened version of this. It's the same form, it's just wider, okay? But the idea with this one is that you can kind of hold it here and you can begin to kind of create those sort of sharp, jagged angles and end up with an object that looks like that by just subtracting from the form, okay? So, so your next step is going to be to essentially, I'll make sure that the camera sees that. You're going to be given this handout right here, right? And you're going to cut 3 versions of each of these, right? And you're going to go ahead and fold them up, but don't glue them. And then what I want you guys to do is to sculpt these things into a more dynamic form. Okay? So let me go ahead and hand these out to you guys. You guys can take these. You guys can switch off to that. Pass that around. Is there any questions about how you might do that? Does this help in showing you kind of the example of what happened to one? And one of the key things about this is to think of it not in flattened form like this, but to kind of hold it like this and try to think about how it might turn into a shape as a 3-dimensional object. How do I sculpt away from it as a 3D object to kind of get it to look right? And in many cases, you're going to have to take the shape that you're seeing here and you're going to have to transfer it to the other side. So for example, oops. So that one has no markings on that side, but if I turn this over, I can show it on both sides. So what you see there, you see on the back side. That's the same. That way when you fold it up, if you're looking inside of it, right, you guys can see those same lines on the inside as the outside. And the logical thing is for the next one to kind of show where the floor level is going to be in relation to the roof. And so if I continue that, I would take and poke through here. Now, when you do that, you can start to see the relationship of where this roof is, right, in relationship to what the floor is below. And if you look at this one, right, you can start to see that I've purposely angled this further back than this so that you see this kind of offset of lines. Right? That makes sense? So I guess it's the day before the Thanksgiving holiday, so I'm going to stop this video and then record your homework and let you guys go. So